Welcome back to Stoic Wisdom TV. Hey there. I'm thrilled you're joining me today because we're diving into a topic that's going to shift your perspective on attraction and relationships in a big way. Let's be real for a second. Most guys spend their entire lives chasing women, desperately trying to win their attention, approval, and affection. It's exhausting, isn't it? Constantly feeling like you're auditioning for someone's validation, bending over backward to impress, only to end up frustrated when it doesn't work out. But what if I told you there's a way to flip the script entirely? What if, instead of you chasing women, you could create a magnetic pull that has them pursuing you? Now, before you roll your eyes and think this is about sleazy pickup lines or manipulative games, let me stop you right there. This isn't about cheap tricks or compromising your integrity. It's about mastering a deeper psychological truth that's been true for centuries. Women are naturally drawn to men who embody timeless, powerful traits: calm confidence, purpose, self-mastery, and unshakable composure. And this, my friends, is where Stoicism becomes your greatest ally. Unlike the reactive, desperate guy who's always seeking validation, the Stoic man moves through life with a quiet, grounded power. He doesn't beg for attention because he doesn't need it. He commands respect simply by being fully aligned with his purpose and values. That kind of inner strength is magnetic. It taps into a primal, subconscious desire in women to pursue what feels rare and unattainable. In this guide, I'm going to walk you through 6 Stoic principles that will transform you into the kind of man women naturally wanted to chase. These aren't surface-level tips. They are deep, actionable strategies rooted in Stoic philosophy and human psychology that will not only make you more attractive but also make you a better, more fulfilled man overall. By the end of this, you'll understand how to cultivate an irresistible aura of confidence, purpose, and self-sufficiency that draws women in without you ever having to play games. Ready to become the kind of man who doesn't chase but is chased? Let's dive in. First up, let's talk about the art of detachment. Now, when I say detachment, I'm not talking about being cold, distant, or emotionally unavailable. In the Stoic sense, detachment is about valuing your inner peace above external validation. It's about being so secure in yourself that you don't need anyone's approval to feel whole. This mindset creates an aura of mystery and self-sufficiency that women find incredibly intriguing. When you're detached, you're not clinging to a woman's attention or desperately trying to win her over. Instead, you're grounded, centered, and in control of your emotional reactions. Your happiness and self-worth don't hinge on someone else's opinion of you. And that's a game changer. Why does this work so well? Psychologically, humans are wired to value what's scarce and hard to obtain. It's called the scarcity principle. When a woman senses that you're not constantly vying for her attention, she starts to wonder why. She might think, why isn't he chasing me like every other guy? What makes him so different? That subtle shift in dynamics triggers her curiosity and desire to pursue you. Detachment also signals a high level of self-respect. A man who can walk away from a situation that doesn't serve him shows that he values his time, energy, and peace of mind. Women are naturally drawn to men who value themselves because it signals strength and independence. Here's how to cultivate detachment in your life. First, maintain a full, meaningful life. Focus on your career, health, hobbies, and personal growth. When your schedule is packed with things that fulfill you, you naturally avoid over-investing in any one person. You're not sitting by your phone waiting for a text because you've got a gym session to crush or a project to tackle. Second, respond, don't react. If someone cancels plans or doesn't reply to your message right away, stay calm. Don't let it throw you off. Your life goes on, with or without their response. Finally, practice Stoic reflection. Regularly ask yourself, does this really matter in the grand scheme of my life? Most of the time, the answer is no, and that perspective helps you let go of petty concerns and emotional neediness. Detachment isn't about manipulation. It's about becoming a man who's so content with himself that he doesn't need to chase. And that's exactly why women will be drawn to you. When you stop seeking validation, you start commanding respect. And that's when the dynamic shifts in your favor. Next, let's talk about confidence. Not the loud, boastful kind that comes off as arrogant, but the steady, unshakable belief in yourself that radiates quiet power. This kind of confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build by living with purpose. A man with purpose is one of the most attractive traits a woman can sense. Why? Because when you have a clear direction in life, you give off an energy that's magnetic. Purpose gives you focus, ambition, and resilience. It anchors your identity so that you're no longer seeking validation from external sources, including women. You're not looking to a relationship to complete you because you're already whole, working towards something meaningful. From a psychological standpoint, women are drawn to men with purpose because it signals leadership, stability, and security. A man who knows where he's going in life is like the captain of a ship charting his course with confidence, and that naturally makes him someone women want to follow and support. Think about it. A man without purpose drifts aimlessly, swayed by every setback, chasing fleeting pleasures or distractions to fill the void. But a man on a mission stays grounded, undeterred by temporary obstacles. That kind of composure under pressure is incredibly attractive because it shows you're someone who can handle life's challenges without crumbling. So, how do you cultivate purpose? Start by identifying your passions. What activities make you lose track of time? Maybe it's building something with your hands, writing, fitness, or solving complex problems at work. Those passions often point to your deeper interests. Next, set long-term goals based on those passions. Break those goals down into actionable steps and start executing them daily. For example, if your passion is fitness, set a goal to run a marathon in a year and start training consistently. Finally, avoid distractions. Cut out time wasters like excessive social media scrolling or mindless entertainment. That pulls you away from your mission. When you're focused on building something meaningful, you naturally carry yourself differently. You walk with intention, speak with conviction, and exude a quiet confidence that women notice and chase because it's rare. Imagine the scenario. You're in a heated argument or a high-stress situation. Most people would react impulsively, raising their voice, lashing out, or getting visibly flustered. But then there's the man who stays calm, composed, and in control of himself. That man is unforgettable. Women are instinctively drawn to men who can maintain emotional stability, not just because it's impressive, but because it signals strength, maturity, and dependability. Emotional composure isn't just about keeping your cool under pressure, it's about showing that you're capable of handling life's challenges without losing your footing. This trait is deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to control what we can and let go of what we cannot. Life will always throw chaos your way. Rejections, setbacks, disappointment at how you respond to those events defines your character. From a psychological perspective, emotional stability is attractive because it provides a sense of security. Women want to be around men who won't crumble under stress or become erratic when things don't go their way. A man who can stay grounded in the face of adversity becomes a pillar of strength, someone they can rely on in tough times. Here's how to build emotional composure. First, pause before reacting. When you feel your emotions rising, whether it's anger, frustration, or anxiety, take a deep breath and count to 3 before responding. This simple habit can prevent impulsive reactions that you might regret later. Second, reframe negative situations. Instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask yourself, "What can I learn from this?" Shifting your mindset helps you approach challenges with clarity rather than emotional chaos. Finally, journal your thoughts. Writing down your frustrations or worries helps you process them logically, instead of letting them spiral out of control. Over time, these practices will make you the kind of man who's unshakably man women naturally want to chase, because they know he can lead through any storm. Here's a harsh truth. People value what isn't easily obtained. This principle applies to almost everything in life, including attraction. Women are instinctively drawn to men who present a challenge, not because they enjoy rejection, but because they crave the thrill of earning someone's time and attention. When a man makes himself too available, constantly bending over backward to please, he signals desperation, and desperation kills attraction. On the other hand, when you become a challenger man who's selective with his time and energy, you naturally inspire pursuit. Psychologically, this ties back to the scarcity principle we talked about earlier. Things that are rare or difficult to obtain feel more meaningful and valuable. When a woman senses that your time and attention are precious commodities, she's more likely to want to earn them. Being a challenge doesn't mean being rude, cold, or dismissive. It means living life on your terms and not letting your schedule or decisions be dictated by someone else's whims. You're not sitting around waiting for her to text you back because you've got a life to live, goals to chase, and passions to pursue. Here's how to become a challenge worth pursuing. First, be purposeful. Focus on your mission and goals. A man with a full life naturally becomes less available because he's busy building something meaningful. Second, don't seek constant validation. Avoid excessive compliments, over-texting, or needy behavior. Let your words and actions be intentional and measured. Finally, say no when necessary. Respect your own boundaries, and don't be afraid to walk away from situations or people that don't align with your values. Women don't want what's handed to them on a silver platter. They want to earn your respect, admiration, and affection. When you embody this principle, you become an opportunity worth pursuing, and that's when women start chasing you. Have you ever noticed how some men effortlessly command attention without even trying? They walk into a room completely unfazed by who notices them, and somehow, that indifference becomes magnetic. What you're witnessing is the power of non-neediness, a trait that instantly sets you apart from the crowd. Non-neediness doesn't mean you lack interest in others. It means you're so secure in yourself that you don't depend on external validation to feel worthy. This mindset creates an irresistible dynamic because it signals self-sufficiency and high value. From a psychological perspective, non-neediness conveys abundance. It suggests that you have options and aren't desperate to cling to any single person or outcome. When a woman senses that you're not fixated on winning her approval, it piques her curiosity and desire. On the flip side, neediness reeks of insecurity. When you're constantly seeking reassurance or trying too hard to impress, it signals a lack of confidence, and women instinctively pull away from that energy. A non-needy man, on the other hand, communicates one thing loud and clear: I'm whole and fulfilled on my own, and I don't need you to complete me. Here's how to cultivate non-neediness. First, invest in yourself. Build a life filled with passions, goals, and meaningful pursuits. The busier and more fulfilled you are, the less dependent you'll be on someone else's validation. Second, avoid over-communicating. Don't blow up someone's phone with messages or double text. If they don't reply right away, keep conversations natural and balanced. Finally, adopt a mindset of abundance. Remind yourself that no single person determines your happiness or success. When you embody non-neediness, you become the kind of man women are naturally drawn to because you're not chasing, you're simply living your life, and they want to be a part of it. Contrary to what some might think, vulnerability isn't a weakness, it's a strength. But here's the catch: not all vulnerability is attractive. Authentic vulnerability, when balanced with emotional composure, makes a man magnetic. The mistake many men make is confusing vulnerability with oversharing or emotional dumping. Pouring out every insecurity or struggle upfront can be overwhelming and even unattractive. True vulnerability, on the other hand, is about being honest and open while remaining grounded and self-assured. It's about showing your human side without losing your strength. Why is authentic vulnerability attractive? Psychologically, it creates connection. It shows that you're secure enough to express your thoughts and feelings without fear of judgment. Women respect and admire men who can communicate authentically without losing their composure. However, authenticity must be balanced with strength. A man who only shares hardships without demonstrating resilience can come across as emotionally unstable. The key is to show that you've faced challenges but emerged stronger because of them. Here's how to practice authentic vulnerability. First, choose the right moments to share. Don't unload your life story on a first date. Share personal stories when they add value to the conversation, not as a way to seek pity or approval. Second, show growth. Frame challenges as learning experiences rather than lingering sources of pain. For example, instead of saying, "I'm always anxious and insecure," you might say, "I've had moments of anxiety in the past, but I've learned to manage them through mindfulness and discipline." Finally, maintain emotional control. Express your feelings without being overwhelmed by them. When you strike this balance between strength and openness, You become relatable, trustworthy, and deeply compelling, mean worth chasing. There you have it, 6 powerful Stoic principles to transform you into the kind of man women naturally want to chase: detachment, purpose-driven confidence, emotional composure, being a challenge, non-neediness, and authentic vulnerability. These aren't tricks or gimmicks. They're about becoming a man of true value, a man who's confident, composed, and fully aligned with his purpose. When you stop chasing approval and start mastering yourself, something incredible happens. People, including women, are naturally drawn to you. It's not magic, it's psychology, self-mastery, and the timeless wisdom of Stoicism at work. Let's recap what makes this approach so powerful. By mastering detachment, you stop needing validation and start commanding respect. By living with purpose, you cultivate a magnetic confidence that women can't resist. Emotional composure makes you a pillar of strength, someone they can rely on. Being a challenge and embodying non-neediness show that your time and attention are valuable. Inspiring pursuit. An authentic vulnerability creates a deep, genuine connection without compromising your strength. Together, these traits make you the kind of man who doesn't chase, attracts. Now, I want you to take a moment and think about the kind of man you want to be. Do you want to keep chasing, constantly seeking approval, and feeling like you're never enough? Or do you want to become a man who's so secure in himself that others can't help but be drawn to him? The choice is yours, but I'm guessing you're here because you want the latter. And that's exactly what these principles will help you achieve. If you found value in this guide, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Don't forget to subscribe to Stoic Wisdom for more content on building a life defined by wisdom, strength, and unshakable discipline. And if you're ready to take your self-mastery to the next level, check out the next video the algorithm has picked for you. It'll pop up on your screen now. Click on it to keep growing into the best version of yourself. Stay grounded, stay focused, and as always, keep moving forward. I'll see you in the next video.